Elizabeth is a vintage steam truck who does odd jobs around the roads of Sodor. She has a firm belief that roads should be treated equally as railways should. Not to mention, her snooty attitude can get on the engine's nerves. That being said, she still wants to do her best and be admired by anyone, even those on the railway. She gets along very well with narrow gauge engines. Whilst they all agree that she needs to lighten up, they still admire her for her hard work. One day, the road for Cowan was under repair. Elizabeth was admiring the pack's hard work. All traffic was halted until the road was finally repaired. Elizabeth was in her own thoughts when all of a sudden, a very snooty lorry pulled alongside her. "Oh, pick up the pace," he groaned. "What is the big idea?" "There's construction going on," snooted Elizabeth. "Can't you see?" The lorry eyed Elizabeth crossly. He laughed, as if this day couldn't get any worse. Why would they be keeping something so old, something so slow, and something just as useless as you are? Elizabeth was indignant. "I'll have you know, youngster," she snooted, "that even though I'm vintage, I am very suitable for these roads as you lot are." The lorry scoffed. "One day, your controller will see sense and will have you taken out of service before you even wake up the next morning." And he rolled back, laughing. Elizabeth was horrified. Later at Wellsworth, Emily had arrived to collect more passengers. She noticed Elizabeth being loaded with fuel drums, but she looked very down. "Are you feeling all right, Elizabeth?" she asked. Elizabeth told her about what the lorry had said. Emily huffed. "Oh, I've heard from the other engines that those lorries are always horrid. They always believe they're the future, but don't let them get to you." "Quite right," agreed Butch. He even made fun of George for going too slow, but he soon learned his lesson afterwards. So much for being the slowest. Elizabeth felt a little better after that. Later that afternoon, the lorry was traveling home. He wanted to get home quickly, so he took a shortcut. The driver tried to calm him down, but he became fussy. "I'm overworked and I need a tune-up," he growled. "But it's important to be safe," his driver called. The lorry just ignored him and continued on his way. But he was so careless that he forgot to look where he was going. "I'll show that smoky, smelly thing that I'm much—" "What the—" Oliver was up ahead, digging a trench. The lorry cried out and swerved violently. Oliver saw this and swerved out of the way, but his arm didn't. Whoa! Luckily, the driver had jumped clear. Oliver was very surprised. "Oh, sorry there, didn't see you there," he called. The lorry didn't say anything. Just then, Elizabeth strolled in. "Oh, my dear," she cried. "What happened to you, dear?" "I lost my way, you see," exclaimed the lorry. Can you help me, please?" Elizabeth thought for a moment. "I could help you," she said, "but after all, I am very slow, smelly, and not much use after all." The lorry then cried, "Please help me. I'll do anything. I swear." Elizabeth then smirked. "Who's the best truck on Sodor?" You," stammered the lorry. "Who's the slowest and most careless?" she chortled. I am, whimpered the lorry. And are we steam lorries very slow and useless, after all? No, I'm sorry. I won't call you slow or useless ever again. Just go and get help, please. That's more like it, smiled Elizabeth, and she was off in a flash. Soon she had met Oliver at the junction and told him about the lorry's accident. The driver spoke up. Right then, Elizabeth. We've the breakdown crane with us. We'll be glad to help. Oliver smiled and set off to the rescue. Soon Elizabeth waited and waited and waited until at last Oliver puffed in with the battered and bruised lorry. Here he is, Elizabeth, he said. Not too badly damaged, but he's lost one of his tires. It's off to the works for him. The lorry sighed, then turned to Elizabeth. I'm sorry for making fun of you, he muttered. You aren't that much useless after all. It's all right, smiled Elizabeth. I'll let you off on this one. And next time, don't be so rude and careless. Won't be so hard after all, eh? Chuckled Oliver. I'd rather hope not. Don't you?